Before I get into this next part, I should explain something that's kind of important that will help with the rest of the story. And that is that Jennifer always had people who would go to conventions for her because one of her big things on her blog was having exclusive content. A lot of this was by making people do her busy work, and they would just give her stuff and she would just put it on her blog. She never actually went to conventions. She never actually did any interviews. She never actually did half the stuff that she claimed that she did. In fact, all of her quote-unquote exclusive interviews was just her sending a questionnaire to everyone on the cast, and some people answered it and some people didn't. And that's why you will find that if you look even now, she doesn't have any of the bigger names. She has like smaller cast members or producers or things like that, because most people were not interested in filling out a questionnaire and mailing it back to her because it's not a real interview. She would tell people that she actually did these interviews, like they were face to face, and that she met these people and she talked to these people, all this stuff. That never happened. But she liked to portray it like she was this person who traveled around and she went to these conventions and things like that. And really all it was her posting footage and pictures and other information that other people went and got for her. So it was around this time that I found out that really what she had was like minions that went to conventions on her behalf, and they were dubbed Tattle staff. And in the fandom, unbeknownst to me at that time, I guess this was really popular among the fans because she would send people out with like these badges that she had made up and these like pins that said stuff like snap bubblegum and crack wise and other things that Freddie Lounds actually said in the show. And people, I guess, were really clamoring to get these items. Like they really wanted these very, very badly, and they would actually seek out her little Tattle staff minions at conventions to get these freebies. She made it seem like they were rare commodities and she only had a limited amount of them, when she actually had like boxes and boxes and bags full of them. In fact, when she found out that Sam and I were going to this Monster Mania convention that Mikkelsen was going to be at, Jennifer sent Sam this huge bag of pins, like tons of them, for Sam to give away for publicity to promote her website. I mean, I saw the bag. It was huge. On Twitter, like I said, she would act like it was extremely rare that she had like this limited amount of them, but she didn't. This was supposed to be Mads Mikkelsen's very first convention in America, and I believe it actually was. But for some reason, and don't ask me why, because I don't know what happened to make Jennifer paranoid or whatever, she was really insistent that Maz wasn't actually going to be there, that this was like a scam to sell tickets and to get people's money. And at the very last minute, they were going to announce that Maz actually wasn't at the convention and that they would keep the people's money, but Maz like dropped out or canceled. So that way they wouldn't have to refund anybody. And it was a whole bait and switch thing. That was according to her. I don't know why she thought this, other than the fact that I guess according to her logic, Mads Mikkelsen was not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. So apparently, if that was true, then there was no way that he was going to be at this Monster Mania thing. Nothing anybody could tell her could like reassure her that this wasn't some sort of con or scam or whatever. And she spent a really good long time harassing anybody she could that was in connection with the show. Like, she would tweet at them, she would message them on Facebook, she would try to get their attention. She was hounding everybody because, as I said, she claimed that she knew like Mads Mikkelsen's agent. She claimed that she knew Brian Fuller personally. And she was just a total nightmare to everybody during this because of her utter conviction that Mads Mikkelsen could not be doing this convention. Eventually, she got a hold of a guy that she was like friendly with, and he ran the De Laurentiis company Twitter, which was one of the production companies involved with the actual show. And the guy who ran this Twitter account, his name is Rick, but a lot of people in the fandom like to refer to him as Creepy Rick or Creeper Rick because of his weird relationship with some of the young female fans of the show. There were a lot of allegations of things he did and how he was, and that he was basically a pervert. I can't confirm or deny any of this. All I can say is that I heard the allegations all the time. I definitely knew that something was going on. I saw him pose in a lot of photographs with very young teenage girls in the fandom. And all I can say, in my opinion, is that I think this guy was somewhat predatory, even though I guess there's no proof other than I've heard stories. Jennifer was like best friends with this guy somehow. I don't know how, but they like were talking all the time, and he would give her insider information, and he would give her all these perks and all this stuff that she really shouldn't have been getting. And I don't know what she was giving him in exchange for it. I think Lauren might have been involved in this somehow, but once again, that's a whole other thing. All I know is that finally she got a hold of him, and he said that Maz was actually going to be at this convention. When she found this out, and then she knew that me and Sam were going, she wanted Sam to be like this delegate for TattleCrime.com and act as staff, because Lauren and Roxy, her like higher up, better staff, was going to San Diego Comic-Con basically at the same time. She needed this photograph of Mads Mikkelsen holding her business card that said TattleCrime.com, because one of her big things was to get her staff, or cults, or whoever these hanger-ons were, to go find these cast members and get them to hold up this business card, and then they would take a picture, and then she would post it on her website and use it to promote herself and act like she was official. She did this with a lot of them. Sam wasn't really comfortable with doing this. I offered to do it because I'm more of an extrovert than Sam was. At that point, because of what happened with me rejecting Jennifer's notion that I could be a reincarnated soul of Abigail Hobbs, she didn't trust me enough to do anything. She said I wouldn't follow the rules. She said I would be rude and I would harass him and I wouldn't do it right. So Sam really didn't want to do this, but Jennifer used a lot of manipulation tactics in order to get Sam to do what she wanted, which was mainly that this birthday artwork for this huge birthday project gift, it still hadn't been sent out yet to Brian Fuller. And Sam knew that, and I knew that, and we both kind of knew that if Sam refused to do what Jennifer was asking, Jennifer was going to cut her out, and she would have done all this work on this painting for Brian for no reason, and it would never get sent to him. All of that. So eventually Sam just reluctantly said that they would go there and they would do what they were told, even though they really didn't want to. And that was going to be that. Things were fine for the most part. I mean, I got there, Sam arrived there, we arrived and we went to the hotel room that we were sharing together. And the next day rolls around and we go really early to one of the very first autograph sessions that Maz is doing. I get up there and I get my stuff signed, I get my picture taken, and Sam was behind me in line. And as I'm leaving, I hear Sam ask Maz if he'll take a picture with this TattleCrime business card. And I hear Maz say no because he doesn't know who that is. And I remember laughing about this, like, so hard. Now, that's the only part that I actually remember, because I left soon after that. Because as you can imagine, after you get your autograph and your picture, they're kind of like ushering you out so they can keep the line moving. But I did hear that part. Now, what actually ended up happening, the events are weird and they differ between me and Sam. But what I do know is that however it worked out, we ended up with a picture of Maz holding the TattleCrime business card and not looking very happy about it. Obviously, Jennifer was overjoyed and overexcited and over the moon about how she finally got Hannibal holding her business card. Later, the official Maz Mikkelsen Twitter account thanked TattleCrime, as in Jennifer, like her account, for like being so gracious and such a wonderful person and whatever at this convention. But Jennifer was never there. Jennifer had nothing to do with what Sam was doing. Sam was the one who talked to Maz. Sam was the one who spent time with him. In fact, because Sam couldn't get the photo the first time around, Jennifer had this huge tantrum and made Sam keep going in there like 5-6 times, something like that. Jennifer would just keep funneling Sam money so she would have a reason to go in there and get more autographs and more time to talk to him and all this stuff. And I'm sure Sam was incredibly polite, and that's exactly why the tweet went out praising TattleCrime. Not because of Jennifer, but because of Sam and how Sam behaved at this convention. And we all knew, by we, I mean Sam and other people who weren't Jennifer, we all knew that the official Maz Twitter meant Sam, not Jennifer. But once again, somehow Jennifer got credited, and it looked like she was more official to the show than ever, because it looked like Maz Mikkelsen was thanking her specifically when she had nothing to do with this. She didn't reimburse Sam for the tickets. She didn't reimburse Sam for the travel. She didn't do anything other than ask Sam to go there and kind of bother Maz Mikkelsen to get this picture taken. Then she used the picture to promote herself, endorse herself, and act like she was official to the show, when in reality, she never had anything to do with it. And like I said, she did this with other cast members. This includes Hugh, Dancy, and Caroline DeVernus. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The people who played Will Graham and Alana Bloom. And the story that I was told about this picture is that I believe it was Roxy and somebody else. They were sent to hunt down Caroline and Hugh Dancy at a bar, like at a hotel. This was after the convention. And Jennifer ordered them to basically stalk these people until they found them, and not to stop until they got this picture with this business card. She finally posted it, and she was so proud of it, and she was so excited, and she was just like, you know, once again, like with the Maz Mikkelsen picture, she was like over the moon, like, look what I accomplished, even though she had nothing to do with it. And the really funny thing is that if you look at this picture, not only can you see how annoyed Hugh Dancy is, but he is clearly giving her the middle finger. And I remember at the time seeing that and thinking, how does she not see that he is obviously flipping these people off and he is not happy with it? Her reputation wasn't even as well known as she thought it was, but it seems like people actively didn't even like her. This includes the cast. So that's just a whole bunch of shit that happened. And it was starting to get to a point, like more and more was like snowballing and coming forward. And we were both realizing, me and Sam, just how manipulative and phony this woman was. But all of this probably would have been okay if she'd only really done this much. The real problem comes in with what she did to Lauren and what happened next.